Bad advice can be like a bad romance. Bad advice. Hello, y'all. I'm Diana Brienne. Well, I just got home from the gym and I had a great workout. And earlier today, I did my 5-mile run, so I am so good to go today. It was a great exercise day. It is hot and muggy out, and I am hoping for some rain, and I think we might get it. So I got to thinking about bad advice. You know, have you ever gotten bad advice and acted on it? Well, I can't remember a time that I did, but I know I have gotten bad advice. Well, actually, yeah, I do remember. Many years ago, I was driving around with this lady in the car. We both had the same job. We were working for a temp agency in LA, and that temp agency provided us with a free apartment. Well, we had rode down to Newport Beach, and this is way before cell phones. And she just went on and on about how she was going to quit that job because they weren't paying us enough. Well, you know what? She had me so talked into it that I got out of the car. I went to a payphone. I called the office of the company that we work for, and I said, I'm not coming back. Now, I've not done anything, you know, and that was really surprising for me to call up the company and say, I'm not coming back. And they said, okay, but you've got to move out of your apartment within 24 hours. They provided us with a free apartment. All of a sudden, I got back in the car and she said, well, you know what? I changed my mind. She changed her mind. And all that bad advice had gone into me, and I made a decision to quit a job. Well, fortunately, long story short, it all worked out really well because I got a much better paying job after that. But it was at a very inconvenient time for me. It was bad advice. Maybe it did work out in the bigger picture, but in the short term, it caused some inconvenience for me. And normally I believe in giving a 2-week notice, and I didn't. Although with that temp agency, we didn't have to. So that was one of the luxuries of working for them. You didn't have to give them a 2-week notice. You could just give them a 1-day notice, but they could give you a 1-day notice that you had to move out of the apartment. And so I got bad advice and I acted on it. And I always remembered from that time on to be very, very selective and careful whom I listen to, whom I get in the car with, whom I drive around with, because people's suggestions can influence us. But even with suggestive influences, I clear out my thought processes. I take time in deciding. I just don't act upon an emotion. I just don't act upon a suggestion. I take time, I research, I evaluate, and I sleep on it most of the time to decide, is this right for me? Because there's a lot of bad advice out there. And sometimes we think that it's all from bad people. Sometimes bad advice can come from well-meaning people. I've heard people make investments because their best friend made the same investment and talked them into it, and it turned out to even be a scam. And so, you know, bad ideas, bad advice can even come from good friends, good family members. It can come from anywhere, not just bad people or mixed up people. And so, you know, I think it's very, very important to make sure that our advice is good advice, great advice, not bad advice. And, you know, often bad advice comes from a third voice, a wrong third voice. You know, sometimes there are wrong third voices. There's right third voices too. People that kind of whisper in your ear and make suggestions, and then you act on it and you find out, oh my gosh, it was a wrong suggestion. It was a bad idea. It was bad advice. And I've seen it time and time again. I've seen a third voice come into people's marriages and wreck their marriages. They had a perfectly great marriage. I've seen people quit jobs that were perfectly great jobs jobs because they got bad advice. I've seen people make investments that were bad investments because, well, they thought it was a good idea at the time, and really it was bad advice. So make sure that you look upon your advice in small decisions and in big decisions. And often when we let other people influence our decisions without our researching, evaluating it, getting informed, often we can make a wrong decision. So I believe in researching information. I believe in getting several opinions. And then I believe in digesting that information, doing some more research perhaps, and coming up with the best solution after I've slept on it. So remember, get great information, great advice, not bad advice. Bad advice can be like a bad romance. From my house to yours, may God bless you, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.